to light the fuse, to push the button, to squeeze the trigger.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. I am November Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hey!
How you doing?
And we watched 1966's Modesty Blaise in the course of finishing out our season of Solidarity, our Eurospy season.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say, this is my Zardos. Like, Zardos was already my Zardos, but this is the Nova Zardos, because, like, I saw this movie, and for the first half hour, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. I hate my job. I only do it to pay for my skincare routine. And then, for the back hour and a half of it, I was like, this movie is going to be part of my personality forever now.
Whereas I had the complete inverted experience, because for the first 45 minutes of this, I was just like, oh, this is cool. This rules, actually. And then I was just like, okay, you kind of lost me.
The dialectic that makes the show exciting, and I'm here. I had a great time the whole way through. Loved it.
in a sort of like Hegelian dialectic,
movie.
The most important thing is that sometimes there's a third person just around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that. Even.
Yeah, absolutely. So Modesty Blaise.
What is it? Thesis, antithesis, Devon.
Yeah.
How you doing?
So Modesty Blaise was a newspaper comic, and it has been adapted. It's like the vibe was of girl spy, right?
What if James Bond was a woman?
Yeah. And had a working class co-conspirator who they did not fuck, but always seemed like they were right about to, which is an interesting dynamic. And like, I'm sort of fairly fond of this. It's newspaper comics are always a weird art form, you know, turning fucking Mary Worth into sort of big budget spy film or whatever is sort of like a fraught experience. But
Garfield?
I mean,
Riverdale.
Yeah.
Things of this nature.
Yeah.
I'm sure Archie wasn't a newspaper. Regardless.
Rex Morgan, MD. What? This is just turning into what's the most obscure newspaper comic I can read.
Cat.
And I read the comics curmudgeon back in the day.
Felix the Cat. Okay.
Wow.
Also, it was published by a guy who sometimes published it under a female name.
Yeah, a guy who exclusively wrote strong female characters, including a bunch of very well-regarded, still, gothic romance novels, all of which had female protagonists. And, you know, I just think it's nice that in this day and age, you don't have to have that kind of biography without the and then transitioned, or like the phrase later known as in that biography, you know?
Yes.
Well, mainly because he's dead.
Well, I mean, you don't get much later known as than being dead, I suppose.
Yes, true.
It's true. It's true.
Modesty Blaise.
Transition. We can headcanon the transition if they're dead. It's fine, I think.
There's 100% like a trans reading it. Well, the thing is, I'll get to this later, but this movie is for the LGBT community, which is one reason why I'm so fond of it.
Yes.
And by way of explaining that, we open in a completely white modernist apartment with a kind of conversation pit bed.
I do love the bed in this.
Yes.
So the room also rotates.
Yes, it does.
It is also the knife room and the computer room, and there's a bath in it.
I describe it in my notes as the female living space with the phrase, they hate how much we need to be happy.
I do love that the bath, like the tap in the bath is shaped like a big cat's head. I really want that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All of the set design is fantastic in this movie. Like,
yeah, no, it's incredible. This is Modesty Blaise's apartment.
yes.
And the outside of the room rotates and brings in her, I guess,
Asian butler?
manservant?
Yeah.
Manservant?
Problematic character.
Back in the day, this was just a thing that you could milk for sort of lightly comic effect, like the Pink Panther movies. Except much less of a character here, even.
Yeah.
And Modesty Blaise, Monica Vitti, beautiful. However, first English-speaking role. And at this point, I would like to introduce a new award to the thing, the Gal Gadot Award for English in a Foreign Language because, bless her, she tries her best.
I think she does a fine job.
Enough modesty to fill the Nile.
She's a really good actor. It's quite heavily accented, and I'm being cruel about it because
Did you see that thing a while ago that was like Gal Gadot, former IDF soldier and attempted actor? Oh, damn. Right.
Yeah, but so she is International Woman of Mystery, former international criminal, and current sometimes spy Modesty Blaise.
And she's a Scorpio, which is how I knew I was in trouble.
She's got a big scorpion tattoo, which fucking goes off as well.
Oh, I know. I do like Scorpios.
Like
That's
straight
the
down the
thing.
leg,
It's a weakness, a bad weakness for Scorpios too.
Astrology.
She's got like a
real.
large scorpion bi-road on her leg.
Yeah, okay, the fake tattoo technology hadn't really advanced.
Yeah, there's a guy later who has a shitload of facial tattoos, and it's just like a child was in the room while he was asleep or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, she
crimes are afoot.
And she is told this by sort of like printouts spewing out of her extremely femme computer.
Which presumably make a massive noise and make it difficult to sleep in her sort of conversation pit bed, but whatever.
Yeah.
She also, by the way, she sleeps in like full makeup and a dress.
I mean, listen, sometimes you're too lazy to get the cleansing wipes out of the bag. It happens. So we get a theme. We get themes.
You can't use the wipes; they'll fuck you up. Okay.
What? Every time.
What am I meant to do?
My cellar water.
What the fuck are they doing to water these? Anyway,
it's not water. It's.
We get a theme song which is written for her with lyrics, which puts this immediately in a sort of higher category than a lot of the Eurospy shit we've been watching. The lyrics are not good lyrics, and I have sampled one here. If you're a master of the underworld, you'll be accepted in her queue. It's sort of all like this. It's like
she's gonna kill you eventually.
Yeah, it's Goldfinger with a head injury.
Yes,
and yeah, it's great actually. This is good.
We cut to the Brits. The Brits are having some sort of a problem.
Yeah, Amsterdam.
Yeah. M's going like, what do we need Modesty Blaise for? We've got our best agent on this. We see our sort of Bond figure.
It's less Bond and more John Steed from the Avengers. He has like the hat and the umbrella.
This is my grandpa.
And I'm so sorry because he presses the doorbell of an apartment in Amsterdam and is immediately exploded.
Yeah, the classic Tannerite doorbell.
Yeah.
They 009, 007, like in the first scene of this movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Brits are like, well, fuck. I guess we need to, get in the disreputable Modesty Blaise. What's she up to? And the answer is driving around central London, and I get completely neurodivergently sniped by a very brief shot of a 1960s signalized road crossing because they didn't invent the
You can never guess what it's going to be.
No. I mean, it's got a very different pan. I think it's I think it's a panda crossing, actually. Like, I mean, this was like all introduced in a very decentralized way. The traffic lights, the red one has like a stop printed on it in letters. It's wild.
I love you. I love you so much. The crime that's occurring is that some diamonds are getting nicked or not nicked.
Yes.
Or they're being sent to a sheikh.
Yeah.
So we'll get this. So they bring Modesty in, and M and the, I guess, defense minister.
Yes.
Brief her.
So what this is M is a guy called Tarrant. He's played by Harry Andrews. Very, very similar vibe. Like sometimes an actor just recycles in life. They respawn. And so the guy who plays Lane in Mad Men, whose name I'm completely blanking on at the moment, that's the same guy. They have like 90% the same face. They're like basically the same actor. So if you just picture that guy, he's sort of the M. And then his boss is, I suspect, a thinly veiled caricature of Roy Jenkins, the like 1960s Home Secretary, because he's got a very thick Welsh accent, and he does these kind of like malapropisms.
Is that meant to be Welsh?
I think so.
Wow, that was what that was.
I think it's meant to be.
That makes
Welsh.
sense.
Yes. All right. Anyway, they bring Modesty in, and they brief her, and they're like, "Yo, 15 years ago, we owned a small country in the Middle East called Masera." We gave it back to the natives in decolonization, and since then it's gone to seed.
Yeah, they have a little like. I mean, they make decolonization explicit in the thing. They have a sort of like tough laugh about it.
Yeah, another but the one thing they do have is a lot of oil. So we are going to give them.
In fact, there's a really good drop here, as they explain. Like the leader of this country, Abu Tahir, has been like cooed, and they need these diamonds to shore him up. And so,
for practical purposes, Abu Tahir is a Democrat, and we support him in exchange for a small oil concession.
So you have your like Bush I Heart Oil T-shirt on already.
So we are going to give him £50 million in diamonds in exchange for this oil. But someone is trying to stop us because my grandpa was supposed to be handling this, and then he got exploded by the Tannerite doorbell. So we need you to make sure this goes off without a hitch. Right?
Yeah. And she warns them up front, like, if you fuck with me, I am going to go Modesty Blaise mode, and I'm going to go back to my like thief ways, and I'm going to steal your fucking diamonds.
She also gets an own-in on them, because when they're talking about the kingdom of Masada, they're like, oh, it's ever so small, barely worth putting on the map. And she goes, yeah, it's about the size of England and Wales.
That's
really good stuff.
She is meant to be British, by the way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sort of. She's meant to be like a displaced person and then naturalized British. Anyway, she and Tarrant, this M figure, go to see Abu Tahir. And he's doing the like genteel British Arabist vibe, including a fantastic line.
And a woman amongst Muslims has to be particularly careful.
Ugh. And I'm thinking, watching this, this is like 1960s piece of shit stuff like we're used to. But as it sort of ratchets up to that level, I'm like, wait a second, you're going to subvert this, aren't you? And so they immediately do.
By having the guy just be white.
Yeah, by having Abu Tahir be a white guy who is besties. He is 100% besties with Modesty. He like knows her of old. And so all of the like Arabist decorum sotatic zone stuff just goes out the window immediately because she's like, come in here. It's great.
Yeah, and he's just like, she is my son, you know.
Yeah, very transgender. This
100%. The transgender reading begins here when Abu Tahir, with an alarming like false hook nose, goes, yeah, this is my son. And Tarrant goes, it's surely a biological female, 2X chromosomes. And he goes, listen, shut the fuck up. In Islam, this is perfectly understandable. I'm barely changing the dialogue, by the way. That's
almost, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's
She's
kind
too
of
fierce to be a daughter.
Yeah, it's a little bit like The Wind and the Lion again, you know? Like she's too strong to be a woman.
She's so good at chess.
Damn, imagine if there was a character who was so badass that everyone referred to her as a man, and she was some kind of like some sort of thief. That'd be a really great character that I would love to play in an upcoming series.
That'd be crazy. Wouldn't that be interesting? Maybe boats could be involved, like Eurospy movies. I don't know.
That'd be really crazy. Anyway,
Anyway, so Abu Tahir tries to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II, something which he would later succeed with the help of an agent named Liz Truss.
Liz Truss, who is Abu Tahir's son.
Okay, so there's weird shit about the way they depict Arabs in this movie, right? Because
yes, there is.
It's very racist. It's very stereotyping, but it's stereotyping of like an unexpected kind, right? Because the 60s kind of like anti-Arab racism is like savagery or like The Wind and the Lion, kind of like noble savage stuff, whereas these guys have like one of the sight gags in the background in this sort of like penthouse full of toys, like expensive toys, is a 24-pack of Fortnum and Mason canned condensed goat milk, right?
Really funny.
And the joke is that like it's the same like, you know, sovereign wealth fund thing of like these are guys who are like goat herds made extremely good, who are just like living it up. And it's like it's weirdly out of time for when this movie came out, it feels.
Yeah, it's strange that it's a kind of anti-Arab racism that we don't have so much anymore, because we've now invented like the kind of anti-Arab racism is like, oh, these people are like a threat, they're dangerous, right? But these guys are like, they're legends. We're being racist by saying that they're legends.
Yeah. It's a different kind of anti-Arab racism, but it's
Abu Tahir is wearing a keffiyeh with an agal, the like, you know, the headdress, wearing a pinstripe white suit, an MCC tie, and he has a cannon, which he is sort of gonna
he presents it to Modesty. He's like, we've got a present for you. It's going to help you out, and it's a big cannon. And Taran's like, well, obviously that doesn't work, does it? And he just like stares him in the eyes while he loads it. And he's like, please,
out the
God.
window.
No, that's towards Buckingham Palace. And he's like, oh, whatever.
No, it's not. The joke is better than that because he tells him it's pointing towards Buckingham Palace and he goes, oh, I'm sorry. We'll move to this other window that's got a better view of it. It's like this movie is like quite subversive and more than a few times I'm surprised that they got this out in 1966.
Part of me does want to sort of quietly put this on the KJB trans-only screening list.
Yeah, genuinely.
Like,
right, I was going to build to that, but yeah,
Zardoz.
100%. Oh, also, one other thing. She had another condition, right, which was she wants her mate, Willie Garvin, in on this.
My boy.
My boy. And
fuck yes.
Please tell me you got the drop.
Of course I did. What do you take me for?
We've already checked on your Willie.
Yep.
And what her Willie is doing at that moment is
Shagging.
Trying to get it in and being interrupted by a phone call from her. And he drops everything. He like kicks a woman out of bed.
He then throws a knife at her.
Admittedly, that is
a little bit,
taking it a little bit too far. Yes, the two things you need to know about Willie Garvin. One, he is devoted to Modesty Blaise with his life in a kind of simp way, and two, he has knives, like a lot of knives.
And three, this is Terence Stamp. This is very young Terence Stamp.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the thing is, if you redid this as a trans mask, it would interesting dynamics there, I suspect.
Yeah, it's also really interesting because they haven't yet realized that Terence Stamp has to play villains. Like, if just look at this man's face. It's really funny to see him like trying to play a hero character and just like, this is the most evil man alive. Like,
sort of an anti-hero.
Hero character is interesting. Yeah, he's sort of like, he's a cad, he's a roue in a sort of working class mold, in the mold of Alfie, those movies, or like Harry Palmer, right, from the Ipcris File, where he's like he's a bit of rough and ladies like it. And like there's a bit later on where he is fucking another woman for information. And she says to him,
"You're so cruel."
Cruel, I haven't touched you yet.
It's like that kind of banter, right? And it's actually really well done, is the thing. But yeah, so he is brought in against M and the British government's wishes as her own sort of private assistant.
When Modesty and Dwight Shake are alone, she says, you know who's behind this? Who's trying to stop this diamond shit? Who 009'd Abby's grandpa? And Dwight Shake says, there's only one man who could possibly be behind this.
Yes, we
movies, films,
cinema. Thank you, cinema. We cut to Dirk Bogarde wearing the stupidest, thinnest glasses in the fucking world, sitting on the deck of a yacht in his little sailor cap. And let me tell you, Dirk Bogarde is my favorite part of this, or perhaps any film.
Every clip I've pulled is him.
Genuinely.
He's so good. The vibe is like, what if Moriarty was really gay, but not in an Andrew Scott Sherlock way, in a way that's actually cool.
Gay baiting shit. Instead, it's like, again, things I am shocked that they got into the movie. I describe him as gay Blofeld, right? We see him come back to his sort of like castle lair, which is decorated in...
It's fucking hideous.
If you've played Deathloop...
It's beautiful. It's perfect.
It's beautiful. It's really aesthetic. Yeah, what it is he has decorated it in a really trippy, psychedelic way that now is kind of only remembered in parody of like Austin Powers or whatever. Whereas this is a slightly less parodic. Still, comedic. But like, there's fucking spirals everywhere. There's like 8 different kinds of clashing wallpaper.
Yep.
Just like painted onto this castle courtyard.
Big circles on some of the walls. He loves to stand against those as well. Really, just incredible stuff.
And he's got what I can kind of loosely summarize as an evil polycule, right? Because sometimes being gay means that you have a found family, right? Like your podcast co-hosts, or in this case, you are gay Blofeld. You have as subordinates a Scottish accountant.
Yes, McWhirter.
McWhirter
Who is all. It's Another of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this guy, the thing about McWhirter is he's kind of an old-fashioned offensive stereotype.
Yeah, tight
of,
Scotsman.
Scottish
Yeah.
people being like,
Yeah,
miserly.
the Scotsman finds a fly in his beer and he pulls it out by the wings and says, "Spit it out, you bastard." That kind of joke. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so he's constantly like saying this evil organization is costing us so much money. He upbraids Gabriel at one point and says, "You spent £30,000 on sex in June." Like you expense this?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, but to be fair, you only spent £2.17 on death in the same period. So
smoke machines are expensive.
smoke machines are expensive.
And he has Mrs. Fothergill. Mrs. Fothergill,
God, yes.
who is kind of Rosa Klebb.
Yeah.
Mhm. Rosa Klebb, if she was a different kind of lesbian.
Yeah, Rosa Klebb, if she was done by people who were not homophobic or were
Yes.
or were like lesbophobic in a sort of like intra-queer way, I guess.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
not an unproblematic character, but I'm really fond despite myself.
She beats a clown to death.
It's a mime.
And throws him off.
It's
a
a mime,
cliff.
and the thing
She
is,
chokes him to death.
this mime, right? First of all, this mime has
Oh,
like
my apologies to the mime community for conflating you with it.
the mime has.
They're going to have some very strong words for me, and those words are going to be.
For fuck's
How
sake!
dare you, motherfucker?
As McWhirter says, as they're sort of uncarting this mime, he's betrayed this organization, and Gabriel rolls his eyes at him. He's like, "You have to be so dramatic about this." But the thing is, as they do,
He's drinking from a glass with a goldfish.
yeah, this
in
is
it.
a recurring
Yes.
joke that all of the drinking vessels are fucked up. It's not funny.
Mhm.
This is one of the points of
pretty
this movie, right? Is that it does a bunch of like weird avant-garde shit, and a lot of it doesn't hit. But I'm glossing over it because I don't care, because the stuff that does is so good. But like, as they uncrate this mime to have Mrs. Fothergill like kill him by choking him with her thighs. Hello, I notice he is like bound and gagged, and I ask the question: why gag a mime? Because
You're
functionally,
scared of what he'd say, you know?
Yeah.
damn. I mean, functionally, to tie a mime's hand is to gag a mime. Like, I think,
And to be fair, they ungag him and he doesn't say anything
yeah,
still.
like,
Like,
because he lives by a code, and he dies by that code too.
He does.
yeah. Although to be fair, I mean, when you say she chokes him out with her thighs, he does put his head between her thighs
I mean,
unprompted.
would you not answer?
Okay,
I
I'm-
remind you,
I've
you're
been-
under oath.
I've been recommended not to answer that question. Looking over, I got a lawyer like shaking his head at me.
He tries to do a clown routine for her to, I guess, like plead for his life in a way. She entertains this briefly and then throws him off a cliff
Yeah.
and kills him.
She does. She throws him off a cliff. Two hands, lifts him over her head like fucking
Yeah, it's
Zod break,
perfect.
like Bane breaking Batman's
And
back.
the thing is, McWhirter is like, you see how this isn't making us any money, boss. And Gabriel goes, listen, we're not in this for the money. We're in
Yeah,
this
he's
for
specific.
watching evil MILFs throw mimes off cliffs. And
Yeah.
that
Hell yeah.
cuts to the heart of what I want from my villains. And it's like a perfect piece of villainy in this movie, I think.
There's also a fun bit of throwaway dialogue where we establish that nobody in London knows that Gabriel is the Moriarty figure. He says, "Oh, I had a lunch with my mother, and she has no idea I'm like a criminal mastermind."
Yeah, Dirk Bogarde here, again, cast as someone who has a couple of secrets from his mother in the sort of Noel Coward way.
He's also wearing a kind of like Andy Warhol style white wig.
Calling him gay.
He's a faggot.
He is. Yeah, he is. He really is.
Mm.
Yeah, so Modesty has to go to Amsterdam to pick up the trail, these diamonds. And we get another annoying quirk, which is anytime Modesty does something, we get a piece of like voiceover between Tarrant and the minister that's like, what's she doing here? Well, she's doing this, sir.
Sort of to keep us on the ball here in terms of what the plot is.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's only funny once or twice.
Yeah.
She goes on a canal boat where an assassin, who, if you go back and look, looks weirdly like Dutch Keir Starmer, tries to sink the thing with a sea mine.
Hell yeah. A tiny sea mine, like a river mine.
Yeah, the tiniest sea mine.
You know what? I'm not going to attempt that voice. I'm not going to attempt that voice.
It's quite sweet almost.
Yeah, she has to infiltrate another apartment, an apartment with a massive conversation pit.
Yeah. It's like 500 fucking throw pillows in that apartment.
Also full of dolls, which weird shit.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
shitload of dolls in this movie, and I don't know what they're about, but they're everywhere.
Not the good kind.
Yeah, well, I
There's
mean,
a couple of them too.
Also, as far as these things go, I really like Modesty. Like the way she acts, like spying here, because she's like she gets bored and plays with the modern art sculpture and then like takes off her heels before she sneaks around, which I will also say as a piece of foreshadowing is one of about 500 times she is like prominently barefoot in the movie. This will be important later.
Almost everyone gets at least one barefoot shot at the camera. I don't know.
Maybe see why Quentin Tarantino is a big fan of this movie.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Meanwhile, Willie Garvin is at the Tits and Ass Club trying to find somebody to shag for information. Get a lot of quite gratuitous shots of like tits and legs here.
But the thing is, I have a great deal of 1960s woman dysphoria. And so,
I feel like this film will not help you if that is the case.
No, it gets worse with every 1960s movie we watch. I experienced this season functionally as torture, you know?
And I really do apologize.
No, that's...
But, Modesty Blaise, there's this fucking amazing shot where, like, it's like a wide shot and there's one of those, like, film reels and you can see Willie through one of the gaps in it. So he's still like in shot. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. The magician at this club is working for Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is getting sort of like telegrams through being like, you know, stop them.
Yeah. Paco, I think his name is.
One of his assistants, the hotter one, is immediately sort of purloined by Willie, who already knows her from, you know, being sort of international shagger. And is like...
He's like, as it gan.
He does the like Austin Powers, like, do you want to come back to my place for a shag love thing? But it's actually effective because it's Terrence Stamp and he's doing it entirely sincerely.
Yeah.
It's like, it weirdly hits.
It does. It's two shaggers. Like, this is the thing, is that the British government, any government cannot withstand having two separate shaggers on board trying to deal with something. It's like a pincer maneuver.
So at this point, Modesty's sneaking around this flat and a man comes back to it and then they fight each other, but then they recognize each other, turn the lights on.
I write, why is this fight done like sex? And the answer is because it's about to be.
Yeah.
Because this guy is...
Paul?
A British spy,
Yeah.
whom she has previously worked with, fucked, seduced, and then betrayed.
Yeah.
And there's a fantastic piece of dialogue where he's like, was it all lies? And she goes, do you think I can control my heartbeats? And he goes, maybe. It's really like, the thing is, the script is really good.
It's quite tight.
Yeah. There's also a point where he says, I ought to strangle you. And she says, please try.
I have the drop, literally me.wav. Where she fucking...
I ought to strangle you.
Try? No!
It's hopeful tone there. She like pulls her collar down. She's like, try.
There's also a really funny point where she's dressed in a very like slinky spy suit and they want to shag, but neither of them could figure out how to take it off.
This is my favorite ongoing bit. She's just like turning her around and be like, well, how did you get into it?
She's like, I don't know. Is there a zip? Like, it's very funny.
She's looking as well. Just like, I don't know whether,
In the process of this seduction, she's like, so where are the British government sending these diamonds? And he's like, oh, they're being flown out of like RAF Schiphol tomorrow night.
Yes, yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. I believe this unquestioningly. By the way, as we see them undressed later, he has the like matching snake sort of biro leg tattoo.
Yeah. Then something slightly strange happens. Perhaps you can tell me what this was about. So Modesty says the villain is Gabriel and Paul doesn't believe her. And then she just trashes the apartment and he says, stop acting like a bloody-minded female.
Yeah.
And then she says, I'm hungry. And he goes, okay, I'll make you a snack. What was that?
Sometimes you just have to go baby girl mode, right? And listen, if all you've had to eat that day is like girl breakfast, then, you know, this is a realistic depiction of me at about sort of like 3 PM.
I feel like this is a kind of misogyny that I just don't really understand.
It's bawdy. I would say is the vibe. Like it hits in the same way like some of the like Hong Kong action comedies we've done, where they try to do like War of the Sexes stuff hits, right? Where it's like, damn, women be crazy though.
Yeah, he refers to her women's intuition, and she gets mad at him and starts throwing shit around. And then he says a bunch more misogynist shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But fortunately, thank Christ,
some goons
break in.
These are some of like solid
Some of the goons
goons
of all time.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to give that accolade away too highly. Like Spy Kids 4 had some of the goons of all time. These just has some of the goons. Like, but they're like
that's fair. You got me there.
Solid B grade goons, big guys in suits. You know, what more do you want? Suit with a turtleneck as well. So they ambush the two of them, and we get some weird fur rug bondage. And she gets like menaced with the modern art statue from earlier because it's got sharp bits all over it. It's a bit avant-garde for me. Actually, there are a few bits in this movie that are a bit avant-garde for me.
This is where the movie is starting to fall apart because, and let's like pull back for a moment here. According to the sources we've been able to find, the director made this movie bad on purpose.
Yes,
I do not think he succeeded.
So there's a number of like continuity errors. And things that like don't quite work. Like one of the things that I started to notice, for instance, is that like Modesty changes from blonde to brunette from shot to shot, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff like that where I'm like, hang on, where did you?
Yeah, quite like that.
Really enjoyed it.
I have a shot of that later on that I'm going to highlight specifically. But I really like the kind of like alienating, doing things wrong on purpose thing. But this is like, the thing is, again, if you just like,
I liked it.
If you think about what the script is saying at this point.
And if it was me, I would have made the movie good on purpose.
That's because you don't like camp, which is, you know.
That's true.
Well, I've watched a lot of movies that have tried to make themselves good.
Yeah.
To be fair, this one, as you say, it's trying to make itself bad, and it hasn't actually succeeded.
Yeah, it circles back around.
The ways in which it wants to be bad is like continuity problems and just like guys showing up and
and like weird stuff like dolls everywhere. Or in this case, like, you know, we have to have the bit where the heroine is like tied up, so we have her like tied up in a fur rug. And it's like, if you look at what the script is doing in this, it's quite a sort of normal, relatively serious bit of like spy comedy. Like quite tightly written, quite well done stuff. And I think if you had filmed it on that level, this could have been a lot more successful than it was. But equally, you wouldn't have quite as much like compelling weirdness to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. This is one of the bits where it doesn't. So the goons menace Modesty into getting Willie to once again have his hookup interrupted, get cock-blocked, come over. And
he said, I can't wait 15 minutes, love. And she's like, no.
So he ditches the woman who is crying, and he kind of like makes it up to her, and he, you know, agrees to meet her later. And on his way there, he runs into Tarrant, who is clearly like surveying the progress of the whole mission. And we get a very stealth gay joke. Tarrant sort of like dressed, you know, in like bowler hat and suit with the umbrella, pops out of a canal boat and goes,
Are you buying or selling?
I'm giving it away, actually.
Like you'd have to.
Which is like, that's a cruising joke. That is a cruising joke, and it's really like funny. It's cute, and it would have flown past like any sort of like heterosexual member of the audience, but like,
yeah, it was quite cute.
This is a movie for the gays.
It is. It is.
Give it away.
He says, watch out, because there's goons surveilling the flat, and I think they're up to something.
Yes.
So I like that M gets involved here.
Oh, their team up is fantastic.
They do this little plan where M just goes and like knocks on the door of the flat and walks in as if he like is expected there. And whilst the goons are looking at him, Willie sneaks in the window, kills one of them with a throwing knife, and M shoots the other with his umbrella.
Oh, the fucking umbrella gun. The umbrella gun is incredible, because the thing is, it's like a full-length shotgun. It's like, it's not like some dart bullshit. No, you pan round and this guy just fucking blows this guy away. It's incredible.
The full like grouse shooting. He's holding the thing like on style. It's fantastic. One additional guy rolls up, and Modesty deals with this by judo throwing him one time. And he just like hits the ground and stays completely still.
Perfect.
Just dead ass on the ground.
So Modesty is rescued. They have to meet up with the woman that Willie has like dumped the next day. And the whole time we see Gabriel is on his island workshopping how to threaten Parker, this magician. This is such a good scene, because he tries to like deliver this, what is functionally the threat, like eliminate Modesty Blaise or you will be killed. But he does it in this very like flowery language, and McWhirter is like paring it back to save money on the telegram.
Yeah, it's really good. He's doing this like whole general speech where he's like, when I send a soldier into battle,
He switches accents for it. Yeah, it's great.
I cry, for the widows. And he stops and he goes, hold on, the widows and orphans. The widows and orphans' tears are my own as well.
Dirk Bogart's fantastic actor.
The word is just like, eliminate her or we'll kill you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. She's like, look, Paco will get it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So fucking.
So they go to meet this woman at a covered market.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
My notes say some kind of fucked up Dutch fate.
It is 100%. I mean, all
Yes.
things in Holland are fucked up, including this.
Yeah, frankly, terrifying amount of dolls nailed to a building.
Yeah, again, weird shit. Trying
shit.
to
Very
trying to
odd.
fucking alienate me instead of making the movie bad but good on purpose. Just trying to make it bad on purpose.
Yeah, for the Fremdungs effect, isn't it?
Yeah, for Fremdung's effect, isn't it? Modesty is wearing a regular ass dress with a sort of very long, thick version of a man's tie on the front, and it fucking sucks. Like a rare L in terms of the of the fits here.
Yeah, her fit earlier on was like a massive yellow dress
It was
hoodie.
incredible.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hit or miss with the fits here.
Yeah, yeah.
Predictably, this woman Nicole is murdered. She is stabbed.
Quite graphically.
Yeah, by a remarkably 2020s looking guy, though.
Yeah.
Like, really out of time.
This time traveler came back to assassinate her.
This man knows what a podcast is. Yeah.
Normal glasses and just a big oversized sweater. And I'm like, you could have been down the street just now.
Yeah.
But he does her in. It's a shame.
We get a kind of trippy chase scene followed by a slightly less trippy fight scene. Tonally, this bit is all over the place. The music is weird. And it's clearly like, this is the director hitting the big, like, fuck with me button.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate it. In this
She's
bit.
constantly changing from blonde to brunette, and like her outfit changes too.
That's
And
right.
I'm like, if I were making the movie bad on purpose, I would have made it bad on purpose in a way that I can still follow what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the swap in hair colors works better in other scenes. This one's quite dark, so it's hard to.
Anyway, they kill these goons, and then we go to RAF Schiphol, and M and Paul are there, and Paul's like, I told Modesty the wrong time the diamonds were going to be sent at because I knew she wouldn't be able to help herself, right?
Yeah, and also the diamonds are not on this plane at all. They're on a ship, which, unbeknownst to her. But
we get. Oh, she does in fact. It is known. It is known to her.
Oh,
She
it's
is
known.
She is
It
aware
is
of it.
pronounced.
I'm not entirely sure how she knows this.
oh, it just intuits it. Women's intuition.
She learned it earlier on. But meanwhile, so this jet takes off to, it's a decoy, but they're pretending that it's going to take the diamonds to the Sheikh.
Yeah, beautiful, like Hawker Hunter in green for some reason.
And Gabriel is listening into the pilot's radio, and I
Oh
fucking
my god,
love
this bit. Okay,
this
so
scene.
first of all, the
perfect scene.
cockpit dialogue between the pilots. It's two perfect RAF voices. They're like flying over the Alps, and one of them goes, "Do you ski?" And then goes, "No."
I was like, ski? just the brief shot to like humanize these guys, because
It's just like it's completely like buttoned up, just like, "Nah." do you skate?
Gabriel's in there. He's getting ready to fucking shoot this thing down, and he's like ginning it up to himself. He's there like, it's always the hardest
So,
part.
a couple of things here. First of all, Gabriel is wearing an outrageous kimono to do this.
Yes, he is.
Second of all, his first question hearing this is,
The pilot's got a charming voice.
and then he tries to find out whether or not he's married.
He says any dependents.
Yeah, ostensibly to find out if he's going to like make any widows and orphans. But this is a gay joke as well. It's a gay joke as well. When he finds out that he's married and has 2 children, he's like, shame.
He's like, why couldn't they be bachelors?
Yes, genuinely. Like this is for the culture. This is for the community, and it's charming me to pieces at this point.
It's very funny.
He finally gins it up, and he goes, "All right, fire the missiles."
They shoot the plane down, and like also one of his henchmen is a friar with an organ. The friar plays a mournful tune. And then with the henchmen get a transmission. Also, one of his henchmen is just standing around oiled and shirtless. Which, again,
that is true.
It's full of gays. But we get the transmission like, Rocket Base confirms 4 parachutes have been opened. And then Gabriel's like, yay! They survived!
It's so good. I've got the clip here of what he says next, which is,
Tell the friar to play it a deal.
What shall I tell him to give thanks for?
For me, of course.
dudes rock.
Fantastic. Yeah, they all survived. We shot it down. Let's go, boy. It's perfect. I love the found family villains. I want more of them.
I love that his heart's not really in evil.
Almost all of them are alive at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just kind of about.
His objectives are like objective 1, serve. Objective 2, evil.
Yes,
That's it.
100%.
Serve cunt before I serve this country.
So Modesty and Paul meet up, and she knows that the plane was a bluff.
Fantastic. So you remember all the stuff that I liked in Atomic Blonde, where it's like two spies who both know that the other is like a habitual occupational liar, sort of like working around each other. They do a comedy version of that where they pour champagne and they swap glasses about 20 times because each assumes that the other one has drugged the champagne. And finally Paul goes, "It's all right, I trust you. I was watching you." Takes a big sip of the champagne. Fucking immediately roofied. Incredible joke.
So fucking good.
The longer the build up to it, the funnier it is. It was great.
Also, I do want to say happy moment. He pours her some Veuve Clicquot champagne. Now, Veuve Clicquot is like a fine champagne, but it's not like super duper, like totally out of reach expensive. It's like a very good champagne. And, like the Mercedes of champagnes, right? Not like a Rolls Royce, but like,
The Mercedes of champagnes, not out of your reach. Like a Mercedes is not out of your reach.
You know what I mean? It's not like the Rolls Royce,
Sure.
It's not like a Ruinart or like a Dom Perignon. It's
It's the Renault Clio of champagnes.
I don't know.
What's the Yugo of champagne?
Carver. So he serves her this and he puts an ice cube in it. And I'm just like, dude.
He does do that, yeah.
Death.
Well, the correct punishment for that is to get drugged immediately, which he is.
Weird fucking glasses as well.
Well, yeah, because also he drinks it all in one go, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't. You deserve this. Fuck you. Okay?
Again, no one has imbibed a single liquid from a non-fucked glass this whole movie
It's
so
not
far.
funny. It's never been funny.
It gets funnier later to me, but...
Modesty's Asian manservant brings the plane around that they
Wang
have.
is his name.
Wang.
Doesn't matter, doesn't get any dialogue, really.
She's quite patronizing to him.
She is. She shows him off to Willie, like, hey, check this guy out. I got this guy.
Yeah, sweet, isn't he? It's like, okay, this is a human being.
Bad.
Bad stuff.
At least he's not white.
They fly the plane after the ship that she knows the diamonds are on. There's a beautiful shot where they're like flying the plane, both holding glasses of whiskey. In the 60s, you could do fucking anything.
If it's your plane, like,
yeah,
100%.
Modesty's accusing fans of stalking her because there's somebody tracking her private jet usage.
Meanwhile, we're just doing stupid gay bullshit. What Gabriel is doing at this point, and this is a long sequence, is trying to get a good creme brulee out of his chef.
So fucking
This
funny.
sounds like it's genuinely that, like, there's a solid 10 minutes of this that, like,
He's sat with McWhirter. They keep bringing food out to him, and he's just like, "Oh no!" And then, like, instead of it being taken away, McWhirter's just like, "Give it here."
Yeah, at
like,
one point he just, like,
so it's not wasted.
he like taps the plate with his biro and points at his own sort of place on the table to be like, no.
The guy brings like 2 lobsters and he puts it, and the shot is so the camera's between the 2 lobsters being proffered. And then he's just like looking at him, he's like, "That one. No. That one. Oh, decisions. Both of them." And they just get dumped straight into some fucking boiling water.
Meanwhile,
served up, and then he just goes like, "Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, he can't because his henchmen are being trained
are they ever
to go on a diving mission by Carol.
Mrs. Fothergill. By the way, there is a joke in there that's like, who do you think there's a Mr. Fothergill? McWhirter says, and Gabriel just says, "I am Mr. Fothergill," which I really like. So Mrs. Fothergill she is sissy hypnoing a shirtless boy who she has like between her thighs.
I'm always doing this.
While she is torturing 2 men by forcing them to scuba dive.
I'm not always doing that.
Just some of the time.
Only every so often." Damn.
But one of them, in the course of this, because they are training for the heist to come later, one of them drowns.
Yeah,
and Gabriel hears about this and he goes, "How can I eat lobsters when the lobsters are eating Borg? Take them away."
But most importantly,
so good.
So Mrs. Fothergill on the ship reels in the sort of the rope, and she finds the dead guy's necklace, and she puts it in her mouth and sucks on it. This woman is an icon Visibility is so important. Women's stories matter. They just matter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always make sense, but they do matter.
Yes.
You
It's so
think this
important to
doesn't make
show women's
sense?
stories. And of course, instead of the lobsters being taken away, McWhirter does the thing where he just like taps on it. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Give that shit. We're not wasting the money on that. Like, give me the fucking...
Gabriel Gonzalez, I'm sure you wouldn't want to see that be wasted, yeah.
Yeah. Our accountant is the exact same way. He has to use so much of my leftover skincare routine.
God.
But how can I apply serum when Abby looks so much more femme than me?
What?
That's how. It's the serums.
Fuck! It's the serums. They land in Italy.
Yes.
They're driving around.
This is where the movie well and truly loses me.
I'm having fun.
This is fantastic.
They're vibing. She has an ice cream. There's a great...
It's huge. It's like the size of her head. It's like an oversized prop.
Yeah.
We had an ice cream about that size in London one time, Abby.
Oh, yeah, we did. That was lovely.
It was very pleasant.
It's a great line.
If Gabriel doesn't attack us soon, we'll have to have lunch.
Which, again, the Gal Gadot Award for
Fantastic.
English in a foreign language, but, like, it's really funny. She's just, like, chilling. She doesn't give a fuck, you know?
Is it?
Yeah, I thought so.
She's just driving around, just waiting to be attacked.
Okay, so then they have a conversation about how, we've worked together a lot. We've never shagged, but maybe we should. And then...
Well, you say
There's
conversation.
There's a musical number.
Yes, but instead they sing. And Willie's singing voice here, Terrence Stamp, I don't know what's going on here, but it's insanely Eric Idle coded. Like, in a real bright side of life.
It's really...
He's a good singer. He does well.
He does great.
Yeah, what it is it's Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. Like, that's what they're parodying in the same way that, like, Family Guy used to do that, right? The duets, right? Like, what a sort of, like, funny pair we two are, right?
It wasn't desperately funny when they did it either.
The thing is, I kind of got what they're going for with this.
I was neutral.
And as such, I surprised myself because, like, there was some part of my brain that's kind of, like, locked inside that's like, no, this sucks. And then the rest of me is like, I'm really enjoying this. I'm just straightforwardly, like, having a good time. Yeah.
Because the thing is, ultimately, they made this movie. Like, they bad on purpose, whatever. Like, they had to have a shitload of people together, all aligned on the vision to create this. And I'm going to accept it on its own terms. Like, I'm going to watch it and be like, okay, why are you making them sing at me right now? Is it for a purpose? Not entirely.
Being gay is when things are bad on purpose. I'm pretty certain that's true. So they're being followed. And instead of a chase sequence, they're pulled over by MI6, who get to be the antagonists.
Yeah, it's the fucking Brits.
Here.
Yeah, M and Paul.
And we even get a little bit of class struggle with Willie, right? Because M sort of notices he's in the car and goes,
How the devil did you get a passport, Garvin?
Just because I'm working class?
Lower class, you mean, surely?
I mean, like, it's more than you got in the fucking Bond movies.
Sheer Khan-ass voice. Lower class, you mean, surely.
Yeah, it's great.
Working class.
The way they escape is psychedelic and stupid. It involves
They escape by dint of a gender reveal burnout. That's what I've written.
True.
They just hoon it up a little bit and then get away.
Yeah, there's sort of like
They have
coloured
cigarettes
smoke,
that turn into smoke
gas,
bombs.
grenades. Yeah. Although I do like as they
funny.
leave, she looks at him and goes like, "Willie, darling, we've got to be more conspicuous." Which are like
massive smoke cloud.
Yeah. So they fuck around for a bit and then they get bored and go home. Like.
They straight up do. They're supposed to be meeting Gabriel somewhere.
This is for gay people.
It's like raining and they're like, fuck it, should we just go home?
Yeah.
And then they do.
I don't want to be out in the rain. Let's book into a luxury hotel. Is
it me if I were a spy?
So next morning, she's out on the balcony, completely naked. And she gets a call from Gabriel, who is in the harbour, has an incredibly cunty line.
I offer you a flag of truce and a delicious breakfast.
He's on a yacht in the harbour, like, looking at her through binoculars.
When he asks if she wants to get dressed, she draws a neckline on herself, which I think is really funny.
So good.
Yeah.
So he sends a little boat to pick her up.
Oh, the little gay boat, which has it's like a motor launch. It has a pink interior and a pink G flag, which is the only flag I will salute.
She arrives in an insanely cunty outfit. Like, love this dress with, I don't know, like, what would you even call this? Like,
ancient
a shawl
Greece
that
cunt.
looks like it looks like Sydney Opera House. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's very diaphanous.
And a peacock feather. I
Gold
love it.
spike thing. Yeah, she's just holding a peacock feather and like slapping herself across the face with it every so often.
Because
Really
this
nice.
movie is for the gays, what we get is a gay lunch, right? Where
Yes, we do.
Gabriel essentially he pitches her as like, listen, you're a trans femme, I'm gay, we're both thieves. Fuck the British government. Do you want to just go in on this with me and split the
LGBT
diamonds? That's right.
Yeah.
Be gay, do crimes,
Do
and none of these
crimes.
like
Do crimes.
bitch ass like turnstile jumping crimes. You want to steal $15 million worth of diamonds from the British government. And she's like, well, only on my
course you-
terms, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, fine, plan B. And he has his live-in lesbian wife hit really hard over the back of the head, which,
So she then wakes up.
in
Her
a,
hair color has changed, and so is her dress. And I'm like,
Yes.
at this point, I'm like,
I-
you can't keep doing this.
I like her getting kidnapped outfit, is the thing.
I do, but also there's even a thing when they're having gay brunch where he's like, I think I prefer you brunette, and there's just a jump cut and she is. And I'm like,
Funny joke.
That's so
That's
funny. What are you talking
what
about?
is the joke?
Yeah, because she's been doing it all movie. Like they're highlighting it. I don't know. It's a bit hat on a hat, sure, but I do appreciate it.
Comics have bad continuity. Like she is a comic book character. That's why she can't get into or out of her outfits. You know, like.
Be a different colorist working today, you know.
But yeah, so she wakes up. She's been kidnapped.
Again, if it were me, I would have made the movie good on purpose.
They did.
Yeah, she's on this barge yacht, freighter, I guess.
Yeah, they're on a freighter
Yeah.
now. She's on a different boat.
went through all the genders of ships. Willie has also been captured. He's wearing like a gold lame towel because he has been like picked up mid hookup with Miss World.
Of course.
Yeah.
Miss World, my like second favorite henchman in this movie, right? You can read
that.
like
So funny.
there's okay. First of all, there's a line which is again gay, right?
With a cargo of fruit and nuts.
He's a fruit merchant, see?
He is a nut.
It's enough of that.
I mean, God, the delivery on that last line, good lord.
I think I have the line that immediately pulls on off from that.
I have a special weakness for that.
Mr. Garvin is going to help us. Otherwise, I really can't say it. It's pure melodrama.
I'm not fussy. I will say it for you.
Oh, please, Karen.
If he doesn't, you will be killed.
Here's the thing, right?
That's the dynamic of the villain group. Like, that's it.
Women who talk like either of those characters DM me immediately, right? Like women with lesbian voice,
pure
hello.
melodrama.
Women with gay voice, hello.
Oh, hello. Yeah, to be fair, I do love.
If you
I
talk
probably
like
can't say
Dirk
the name of the accent
Bogarde,
on the podcast, but
yes, yeah, the like very quiet kind of. That's enough of that. Oh God, but yeah. So
It's fantastic.
he goes right. She's obviously got like 50 fucking gadgets on her. Take her in the thing and do like an F for F like /fic thing and search her thoroughly. At which point I go, So Mrs. Fothergill searches her thoroughly. It is exactly as explicitly lesbian as you would imagine. This is for the
Miss World is watching
yes,
this and
she
fucking
is.
loving it. which
Yes,
I
she,
will
Yes,
so
she
much.
is.
She is watching, grinning, and smoking. This bit, if the whole movie is for the LGBT community, this bit's just for the L's, and I'm so grateful. I just, yeah, I really incredible. And so the thrust of all this is Willie has to be the safecracker, the second safecracker, who is going to like go in underwater, break into this ship, and then steal the diamonds out of the strong room with a submersible. And he's sort of like coerced to do it.
They cut through the hull and then they get inside the ship.
They had actual underwater sequences.
Yeah,
like
it's good. Actually.
Budget happened to
Yeah.
this movie.
Em and Paul realized what's going on, and they call the ship, and they're like, "Oh, Captain, you've got to check the strong room right now." But as soon as like the captain opens the door, just in time, they like put a dummy box over the hole. They cut in and they get away.
That's quite good.
Yeah, it's very fun.
You can tell when they're getting to like the denouement of a Eurospy movie because everyone suddenly gets onto a boat.
It's true. Very boat focused. And we get onto a new
Love
boat, an
boats.
even cuntier boat, which is
A yacht.
Gabriel's sailing yacht with the pink sails.
Yeah.
Come on.
Basilio, the guy the other diver who has spent all of his time getting tortured by Mrs. Fothergill, gets his moment in the sun where he like perfectly sings an aria to accompany them, which I really like.
So Gabriel sails home with the
it.
diamonds and with Modesty and Willie as prisoners. And there's a little detail I love, which is that McWhirter is on deck reading a book. And the book is called Successful Business Management.
It's really good. He's like, listen, Gabriel is going to be like an agile organization, right?
McWhorter has a promising career ahead in the Labour Party.
Yeah. So they get brought up in handcuffs. And we get to maybe my favorite part of the villainy dynamic, which is she goes, well, listen, I'm the heroine. Don't I get to escape? And he goes, perhaps. It's just, he's kind of rooting for her, right?
He very reluctantly says, I'm going to have to kill you now.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't.
He says, I'm not just going to shoot you in the head. He says, unlike McWhorter and Carol, I have style.
Yes. And so what he does is he has her put in, this is Google this, the Spanish anarchist prison cell intended to psychologically torture fascist prisoners by like using design.
For real?
Yeah, for real. It was a real thing.
Really funny.
To like torment the fascist sense of order. It had like weird mismatched patterns and a sloping bed and stuff. It was wild.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, so
I just kind of can't see.
He puts her in a room with decor, and we have seen that she like lives in an all-white room. And this has fucking like psychedelic wallpaper, a red spiral staircase in the middle, and she just kind of like is assaulted by it to the point that she takes off her shoes for the nth time and just kind of like bundles up in the corner for a bit. It's really like a really fun idea of like torturous decor, but she finds a little envelope with perhaps written on it and the key to her handcuffs.
Gabriel, baby.
I love him so much. She climbs the spiral staircase and pops out immediately in his bedroom. Not as a sex thing either.
He's just lounging in there. Yeah,
it's fully just like, they're
not gonna fuck. He's gay. He just appreciates her style. It's so good.
Yeah, and the thing is, this puts the like putting a hero in an easily escapable situation thing in such a good context of being like, because he wants her to fucking escape.
He thinks that it's fun. He's having a great time. Like,
and he says, look, let's team up. I will kill Carol. I'll shoot her. You join me. We'll split the diamonds, but you have to kill Willie Garvin.
Yeah, what if we just got rid of our partners and ran away together, right? And just
like a criminal eloping.
Yeah,
again, platonic, non-sexual.
Elopement.
Exactly. Although, to be honest, it's non-sexual between her and Willie as well.
This is true.
So she turns him down, goes back in the cell, re-handcuffs herself, seduces the shirtless twink into her cell.
I'm always doing this.
Yeah, it's so good. She doesn't escape on his terms. She goes down and goes like, right, I'm just going to escape a different way.
Escape normal style.
Fuck you.
Yeah. She knows there is a perfectly good trapdoor in the ceiling she could just climb out of. But
instead, she's doing the fucking Goldfinger thing where she like looks at a guard and does the fucking like woo behind it until he opens the door for her.
She seduces his twink. I mean, and he gets knocked unconscious the first time he ever kisses a girl. You know?
Well, she stabs him with poison earrings.
So she does. Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, you're cute. I'm sorry we had to stop kissing," which is quite nice.
Come on.
So she goes to break Willie out. And now we get into a series of jokes about how Bond gadgets are really contrived by making more contrived ones.
What this was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say about 1 in 3 of these is funny.
Yep.
Willie has like a peel-off latex back concealing a shitload of gadgets, which is genuinely alarming when it first happens.
Yeah,
really quite terrifying.
Yeah. And one of the things, the gadgets they reveal is a fake inflatable seagull balloon.
Yes.
That is also a radio transmitter.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which gets through to Abu Tahir, which sets him...
She calls Dwight Shake.
Yeah, which sets him off into a bunch of Lawrence of Arabia jokes, right? He starts the Arab revolt.
Is that what
that
That's what
is?
you remember Never Say Never Again. It does that, but...
Yeah.
Positive.
But birds aren't real, you know? This movie takes a strong stance on that. The only bird seen is legitimately a spy gadget. So they fuck around a bit. I really like this, but they run into a bored guard who is playing gunfight with his actual gun. Like he's just going like pew, pew, and like ducking.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And they assemble a complete bow and arrow out of Willie's belt. And this is why I love the bits that deliberately are bad, right? They fire, there's this shot, right? They fire the arrow, you see it completely miss, and you see the prop arrow come into the guy's abdomen at a completely different angle on the other side of the shot. And it's like, yeah, this is perfect. Like, I get this completely.
I disagree because I didn't understand what was happening. Because my reading of that was, oh, the Sheikh has arrived and he's just coincidentally shot that guy.
No.
And I'm like, it's fine to fuck shit up and like to play with the format. But if I cannot tell what is happening in the story, then you have made the film deliberately bad on purpose and you've done it bad.
What it is like it.
I mean, it's like the thing where someone like is holding a sword under their fucking shoulder. And it's just like, he's just doing artifice. That. It's fantastic.
It genuinely is an example of the Verfremdungseffect. Like, what do you want from me? It's like it's
highlighting the failures of the form in order to poke fun at itself.
I contrast that with a film like, for instance, like Hot Shots or Hot Shots Part 2, where they do things like this, where they're like, oh, somebody clearly misses and then gets shot anyway.
We gotta watch that.
But they do it in a way that lets you know that it's a joke. Whereas this, I don't. Strangely, I think they don't go far enough to let the audience know we're taking the piss.
I think they just trust you to do it, you know?
I think they should give us the rights and we can do it again.
100%. That's what I'm building to, yeah.
Sadly, that can't happen.
We'll get there.
They should give us the rights, and we should also have the rights for the movie we talked about a little bit ago, and we can make Tommy Mercedes fucking fight Gerald, all right? Easy.
So, Mrs. Fothergill fights...
Got every name wrong there.
Modesty. She shows up in a great suit. A real, like, one of the all-time suit. And the thing is...
Fantastic.
Right. She has a fight, and Willie saves her by, like, sort of... She gets some rope coiled around her neck, and he, like, kicks the counterweight off the thing. And she gets hanged, right? Which is surprisingly violent for the thing, and, like, homophobic.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, it's funny how these things stay the same, because she goes out exactly the same way as Xenia Onatopp.
She does.
And yet,
exactly.
This is 30 years earlier, and they did a version of the same character that is more explicitly queer, and they killed her and they kill her off in a way that feels less malignant. I mean, that's genuinely quite impressive. Like, I know we're saying we're not grading on a curve, like, ever.
Yeah.
It's still bad, right? But, like, as far as these things go, it's remarkable how far, like, mainstream cinema has like not taken this, you know?
Oh yeah, no, we've gone backwards in a lot of ways about this kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a spoiler here, and this is the only I've never done spoiler tags on this because, like, it's a movie recap podcast. You know, you watch it first. This is the only time I'll ever do one, because this is a moment at which I gasped. This is a moment for LGBT rights. Stonewall was in furtherance of this specifically. So just mute me for the next 15 minutes or so. 15 seconds or so. Jesus Christ.
Talk about this.
yeah. No, but like so like Gabriel is like doing some accountancy work with McWhirter, and he turns and he sees Mrs. Fothergill hanging and lets out this wordless scream. And then, as he sees that Willie and Modesty are escaping with his diamonds, he rips off the white Andy Warhol wig. There is an honest-to-God wig snatch in this movie. He is, like, the culture. The culture. This is, I mean... moving, like, transitioning from
so
gay brackets louche to gay brackets action.
Yeah,
in the moment of crisis.
I'm always doing this.
And it's also additionally very funny because obviously Modesty's been swapping back and forth between blonde and brunette this whole movie. So seeing him rip off a blonde wig to be brunette underneath is also very funny on that level.
I say this as an absolute compliment. It is drag queen shit.
It's so good. He's like, right.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's fucking, let's go. I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure whether it's just the color grading or what, but Terrence Stamp in this scene appears to be the world's most sunburnt man.
Oh, he's got a really bad sunburn here. Yeah.
Yeah.
The two are forced into, like, you know, shooting back to back as the goons pursue them. And they have the same thing again of, we probably should have fucked, right? But I really like Willie's line here, where he's like, well, it's sort of less common this way, isn't it? It's like it's
nice.
Yeah, because it is. It's compelling. Yeah. It's a compelling dynamic to be like this couple who, like, it probably should definitely want to, and yet
will they? Won't they?
Never
the answer,
will.
They
never
kind of
have.
want to,
yeah,
but they probably won't
because it's a work thing, you know. And they don't. Yeah.
He's on the. They're both on the clock right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the White Sheikh arrives with 10,000.
Yeah,
I guess Arab guys all on jet skis and fucking boats.
So this is the part of the movie that you describe this as madcap. I'm not a fan generally.
I would describe it as poorly edited.
Yeah, no, I'd be with you on that one as well.
So I feel like I'm kind of a killjoy in this podcast, but I'm I'm sorry. You've tried to be funny, you failed, and also you've made the movie badly.
I do know the thing is, there's a couple of fun things. First of all, a bunch of like the guys posing with the Sheikh's flag like at Iwo Jima is funny.
Yeah, I think that was funny.
But second of all, there's a passing sort of like stormtrooper hits head into beam moment because they're driving these like Zodiac like inflatable boats up onto the beach. And one of the extras, I really am not convinced this was acting, gets like knocked out by his own boat hitting the shore and like flings the like prop
Really
gun
good.
forward. He like really like genuine. And the thing is, that's terrible. Hysterically funny to see happen. Like maybe this was on purpose. I don't know. But I really it's
over for him. There's no way they just didn't have enough film to do that shot again. They're like, well, he's hitting the ground, I suppose.
Yeah, just killed instantly.
Hope he's okay.
The bit I do like is as they're engaging in this firefight, McWhirter is sitting behind the evil henchman counting the bullets that they're firing, and then one of them is like shooting all over the place, and McWhirter's like, stop wasting it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really love it. To the end, baby.
Adds this film to your letterbox lists of films that depict the final victory of Islam because...
Yeah, they take the island.
They take the island.
The friar converts to Islam.
Yes,
the friar starts praying Islamic style.
He does.
He gets
This movie has like everything for me.
And I'll tell you this as well. They're not filling time. That guy's full force saying Allah Akbar off the top of it and everything. It's great.
Genuinely. It's a better Islamic prayer than The Wind and the Lion.
And by the time Em and Paul arrive, Modesty's already made her getaway. She's gone.
Here come the Brits in their fucking boat.
Paul goes to like hit the radio to call it in, and Terrence stops him, and he's got this smug cunt expression as he just wordlessly pulls an antenna out to use his umbrella radio.
So
my favorite Rage Against the Machine
in his head,
song.
He's been like, ba-da-ba-da.
It's really good.
And then he shoots the seagull balloon with the same umbrella because it's also a gun.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, Swiss Army umbrella. It's not two. He's just got one.
So in the desert of I forget the name of the country.
Oh god, hang on.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Masara?
There's some kids looking at some oil dripping out of a pipeline. Everybody's partying. There's a alarmingly racist scene where Willie is being bathed in a goat milk shower by 4 women wearing niqabs, but also the kind of like chain, like Yemeni headdress.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
bad.
It's real bad, actually. And
real fucking bad.
It's kind of like, again, bawdy, right, is the tone. But it's being bawdy in a racist way, which, you know, some would argue is an essential element of bawdiness in the British.
It's true, it is.
Gabriel has been staked out in the sun as punishment.
Yes, he
and
has.
he kind of like looks like he's about to say something, and they're like, "What?" And he goes, "Champagne." Like, I am always doing this, being tied up and calling for champagne.
Yeah.
I am always doing this. I do like Gabriel. He's my favorite character.
He's so good.
Modesty is wearing a tobe and a keffiyeh, and on the girl, she's wearing like full like men's dress. Looks extremely cunty. She's hanging out with her adoptive dad. And he's like, you know, you can have anything. What do you want? She's like, oh, just give me the diamonds. Which is, it's a fun joke to end. I write down, this is a prequel to Syriana. The thing is, right.
Kinda.
I am obsessed with this movie now. And I'm now obsessed with Modesty Blaise as a character. They should let all of us write it. Because, right, like, okay, few things. Deep Alice lore. One of the first things to crack my egg was Kate Archer in No One Lives Forever 2, and the No One Lives Forever games were very much trafficking in exactly this kind of like 1960s girl spy kind of wacky, kind of zany comedy thing. And much like this, it seems to be a kind of a cursed thing, right? Because like this, it exists in a kind of like intellectual property hole where there are a ton of people, mostly me, who would love to revive it and do interesting queer trans things with it. But
100%.
It just kind of exists in this legal limbo. And so Modesty Blaise, this film was not successful because it's too weird. And the author of the newspaper comics was like, no, don't do any more of these, thanks. And so what they did was there was a 2003 direct-to-DVD My Name is Modesty film, which was made, and this is a studio thing, it's like a fairly common thing, depressingly, as a pro forma, as we have to do this to keep the rights. Right? So Miramax would keep the rights to the character Modesty Blaise just in case they wanted to hire us to do it. In order to like hold on to it and make sure that we couldn't just do it on our own, they made like a, by all accounts, completely forgettable movie. Executive produced by Quentin Tarantino, because Quentin Tarantino is a fan because of all of the barefoot shit, the least interesting part of the fucking character.
Like Modesty Blaise appeared like this in some of Tarantino's early work, like people changing wigs, and also there's sometimes people directly just reading Modesty Blaise comics. He's a big fan of it. He's
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he's wanted to make a Modesty Blaise film for years.
So do I, and I would be better at it.
It unfortunately can't happen. I think at one point, like various actresses have said that they wanted to play this, including me. But unfortunately, it's never going to be.
Various writers have said that they wanted to write this, including me.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman wrote a script for it.
I'm a better writer than him.
But yeah, unfortunately, it is, for legal reasons, never going to be a film until it becomes public domain in like 60 years.
Well, I mean, okay, so new project. I'm going to be injecting twink blood to stay alive for
until
the next 60 years.
2084.
Yep.
Okay.
In the climate hellscape.
And then kill James Bond season a billion.
Yeah. Season a billion. We find
we're gonna keep doing this until we all die.
Yeah.
Whoever's left last is going to just be doing it on their own.
Yeah, this is the first kind of like combination podcast tontine.
Yes. We're all daring each other.
We've made a pact.
Yeah, a sacred vow. But yeah,
welcome to Kill James Bond. I'm November Kelly. Silence.
Yes.
I'm November Kelly. The lone level sands, unfortunately.
Still stretch away.
I've made a desert and called it podcast. Yeah, and that's Modesty Blaise.
Fuck, I love this movie, man.
This is part of my personality now. I want to get a tattoo, you know?
Problem is, myself and Alice here are the outliers. The public opinion was much, much oh, you're so right.
It's not even really a dead name.
Cut that and start again.
No.
Hey, no. Let me say it again.
Sorry.
I do want to get rid of it if it's a
It's thing. Genuinely not. I just like picked up on it and I thought it would be funny to like...
Piece of shit. All right, leave it then.
Whoever
the hell this is, my opinion and hers is an outlier. The public largely agree with Abby on this one, that they made a bad movie on purpose and it was bad.
Yeah, as like it's sort of a forgettable like James Bond pastiche, notable only to like fucking film nerds.
As Quentin Tarantino.
There's weird shit about this. Like Harold Pinter did a little bit of work on the script. Michelangelo Antonioni was like on set whispering to Monica Vitti suggestions. Like,
fantastic.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I think it's much better than it's remembered. But most of the reason why is that I think it's quietly very queer, and there is an absolute dearth of subversive queer stuff.
Yes. Yes, that's very true.
And I think that's basically, it's as a cope, right? Because I want to make this, but like, and I want to see more of this specifically. But in general, I think the reason why a lot of things suck now is because they don't let you be gay anymore.
Or rather, they do, but queer has now become its own like demographic that because you can make explicitly queer things, they're now like siloed off and used as a tick box.
Get in the fucking Netflix LGBTQ pride category, idiot.
Yeah. Whereas like you can't really make mainstream shit like this that is supposed to be queer and subversive because queerness is expected to be explicitly labeled so that people can avoid selling it in China.
Well, not just China, here too.
Yes, very true.
I mean, the kind of mainstreaming and heavy air quotes of like LGB content is such that like, in some ways, it removes the drive to be subversive. Like, this is a movie that was made, like, before the decriminalization of homosexuality in the United Kingdom. And, you know, it has all these jokes in it because it was coming from a place where culturally, perhaps, the law was lagging far behind, and people would get those jokes, at least some people. Not enough to make it profitable, really, but like some people would. And yeah, I feel a bit like the song Harlem Roulette here. Like, fucking years into the future. What is it? 60 years into the future since they made this movie. Like 3 queer people with a podcast are going to like pick up on the shit that you put into your movie. So it is important for you to put in subversive queer shit because you do not know what sort of like future echoes it will have. And I just wanted to like really
100%
celebrate it on that level, and I want to do a screening of this somewhere. I want to show this to my community, like, because I think it's really fun.
I would absolutely love.
See if we can get Quentin to come to the screen.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Shoes off at the door.
See how many degrees of separation am I from him?
Trans only, shoes banned.
Oh, God.
Because I'm walking up and down the aisle with a torch, just being like, get him off.
Let me see those piggies.
Genuinely horrifying bit that. Oh, God. But we don't have to just appreciate it on that level. We can appreciate it on a science-based level.
Oh, God, yeah, because we solved film criticism a little bit ago.
We did.
We have a science-based system. It's called the SCUM system. It stands for SMARM. Cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. How smarmy is this movie? 27.
Pretty smarmy. I gotta tell you, it's pretty smarmy.
Yeah, it is.
It might be hard cap.
In a way that's nice, though.
Yeah. The thing is like, how much sincerity do we want to take the points off for? Because, like, unedited, this is hard cap smarmy, right? This is like 10.
The thing is, I think it's because part of what camp is using smarm to convey sincerity, right?
Yes.
Watch Paris is Burning, that's what reading is as well, like in a sort of hostile way. I think it is high smarm, but in a way that we have to note is good. Like 7.
7? All right.
Yeah, drop it down. 7, 100%.
Cultural insensitivity. Now, I'm afraid
Pretty
the
bad.
film is very racist and not in a way that is good.
Yes.
Not that there really is a good way of being racist, but you know what I mean.
Expand that thought.
Yeah. 40 years later, put racist, subversive stuff in your movie so that future racists will be able to identify it.
Well, the thing is, racism is mainstream, so it's less.
Yeah, it gets hived
subtle.
off into the Netflix racism vertical. Or stand-up comedy, as it's otherwise known.
Oh!
All right. Hachi-machi.
I think Netflix make good content.
I think sometimes they pay people to make good content.
Yeah, sure.
Feel bad. Literally pitching a series to them tomorrow.
Yeah, best of luck.
Oh, okay. But this won't have come out by the time that meeting's.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Well, glad we awarded Abby all that money and for that contract, now to listen to her podcast. Right. Cultural insensitivity. Weirdly
Bad.
Yeah, real bad.
Real bad.
Asian manservant, not a character. That already puts it high. Its view of Arabs is like, it considers itself to be harmless, I imagine, right? In that it's like a stock comic character, but the end result is weirdly. I keep wanting to do this movie favors because I'm queer and it's queer. I think
you have to be objective. Huh?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter that it's not malicious exactly because it's still really bad. So
it's one of the strange features of this podcast is encountering forms of racism that have since gone out of date.
Yeah.
We've invented like anti-Arab racism 2 at this point, so going back and seeing anti-Arab racism 1 is kind of like, oh, weird.
It might circle back to this. You get hints of it, like when Dodi Al-Fayed bought Harrods, or like any time like the Saudis or the Emiratis sort of like buy a football team or something. You get hints of it here and there, but yeah, in general, like this is kind of a bygone age. But yeah, I mean, aside from that,
6, 7.
The only other character of color is like the first woman that Willie has seen hooking up with is black. Has no lines. Sort of, just not.
Yeah, not
a character.
7, I'm afraid.
Yeah, 7.
Sorry, there's not even omission. Like, there's no characters that are non-white,
and
all the ones that maybe could be are played by white guys. So
fucking prosthetic nose on Abu Tahir.
It's real bad.
Yeah,
it's real bad.
Really bad.
Unprovoked violence.
Maybe it's got a chance here to claw some points back because I don't remember there being a whole lot of death.
No, I mean, like,
There are
I think
goons
so.
who get killed, but they definitely pose a threat.
M fucking kills a guy out of hand, but like,
He had a gun.
that's true. I see M's body-worn video.
Mrs. Fothergill was definitely posing a threat. I mean,
True.
she dies quite violently, but, she was definitely, it was kill or be killed.
True.
One?
One.
Maybe, yeah.
Sensible.
And perhaps a
Misogyny.
contentious category.
Yeah,
Misogyny.
well,
Best black ladies.
Oh god, am I going to have to carry half of this because I truly do not know what to fucking say about this.
Yeah, it's a mysterious one.
It is.
I do like that Modesty Blaise is not just a sexualized character.
True.
I compare this to, for instance, Atomic Blonde, where
Yes.
she's very, very sexualized. The camera, in particular, in that film sexualizes her in a way that we don't see so much here.
Mhm.
There is a bit of nudity. There aren't any explicit, well, I was going to say full titty shots. There are definitely some exploitative shots of supporting artists.
Mhm.
I feel like the film respects our lead actor more than it does our supporting artists.
True.
Who do get a lot of titty
Yes.
and thigh shots.
I think the tone, again, that I'm back to bawdiness, which is proving to be a really elusive concept for me to nail down. Also quite British as well. So I apologize to American listeners who are not steeped in seaside postcards.
Oh, never do that.
Fine. I retract my apology to
This is
our
a British
listeners in
podcast.
The Great Satan.
Yeah, fuck off.
No, we need their money. They're half the fucking
To be
audience.
fair, our top 3 country listeners are all great Satans in and of themselves.
Oh,
so
yeah. I think maybe all countries extant at the moment are some level of Satan.
most of the West, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm actually pitching a series to Satan on Tuesday. So really big fan of his content.
Yeah, for the Satan LGBT category.
We're saying he's great.
So
Great.
yeah, I don't know. It's certainly it's not feminist and it's not progressive, right? But it is subversive. And I think the things that it subverts are a lot of patriarchy. Men in this, bar Willie or Gabriel, who is explicitly gay, are buffoons who are easily exploited. And yeah, that's a common feature to all of these kinds of comedies, but still nice. I just, yeah, I think for something steeped in the misogyny of its time, and again, I know we can't grade on that basis. I know you can't be well, it's less misogynistic than cinema at a sort of ambient temperature in 1966 was, but I think it smuggles a lot of stuff in.
Yes.
That it does challenge patriarchy. So, I mean...
Yeah, it certainly has no love of patriarchs. Both Em and Paul are our sort of classic patriarchs, and they're routinely made to look silly.
Or the British government, for that matter, which I always appreciate.
Yes, that's true. We do get a big scene of them all sitting around trying to decide what to do after my grandpa gets killed, as happened in real life. And and they're all made to look very foolish. So, 3?
Yeah, I'll go for a 3. Yeah, so it's middle of the road, benefit of the doubt kind of level of misogyny. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just we don't really know how to answer that one.
In that case, that gives us a total score of 18, which is pretty average.
Which is weird for a movie that really isn't. As divisive as it's been,
Yeah.
we have strong feelings about it, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
I am going fucking hog wild over this one. I'm gonna incorporate it entirely into my being now.
Yeah, next week when we do the next recording, you'll see my entire room has been decorated with small purple triangles.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a poster. I'm gonna get a T-shirt. I'm gonna get a bunch of tattoos, probably.
I mean, as far as Eurospy movie goes, it's pretty good.
Oh,
pretty good.
I mean, yeah, incredible. Because this is the thing. One of the benefits of this category, this season, is that we really get to be surprised. I consider myself profoundly surprised.
Yes.
And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed talking about it with my 2 best friends.
Wonderful. I had a great time talking about it with my 2 best friends.
Oh, what a coincidence.
That's the benefit, I think, of this.
Give
podcast.
us the right. Give us the rights to Modesty Blaise. Let us fucking do it.
Just me in November. It's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's fine. We're cutting you out. Don't worry about it.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Well, you seem pretty unexcited about it. I don't know.
I would be in it. I wouldn't like to be
of course,
working.
you'd be in it, yeah.
Yeah, fine. You don't have to be involved. Just show
Also,
up
you
and read
have
the
to
lines.
cast the trans
Easy.
woman as Modesty, and I don't think Hunter can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 trans actresses that there are.
Hunter's not the right casting for this one. It's got to be me.
Doing the come-down bit of I think we should cast a trans woman as Modesty Blaise, but just never cast a white trans woman as Modesty Blaise, and just like drive white trans women more and more insane because you can't complain about it.
That's also an option. That's also a real thing that has happened to me. I think I told you once that I was up for a major part and then I didn't get it, and the feedback I got was "Don't be white."
Good.
Well,
Yeah. And I was
fair
like,
enough. You got my ass on that one.
Fair enough. You got me on this one. Fair enough. Good for her.
Yeah, but the second you show up and try not to be that,
yeah,
for a whole other
okay,
bloody reason. You can't win as a white person in society. Anyway, we've got a Patreon. Kill James. I think we've got some pins left and some tickets for the live shows.
Yeah, go to killjamesbond.com.
Go to killjamesbond.com.
Fuck around
some of the
there.
links.
See
Do
what
we have
we've
tickets
got.
left for the live shows?
I don't know. I haven't asked because I'm scared of numbers, but I'm pretty sure there might be.
Pretty sure. I'm just gonna leave you with a perfect little Gabriel line. And again, if you talk like this, fucking call me.
What have I done to deserve this? Everyone in my organization behaves as if she was Marta Hardy or something.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. In 2 weeks' time on the free feed, our next episode is yet another OSS 77. It is Terror in Tokyo in 1966. But if that is simply too long for you to wait, then you can head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/killjamesbond, all one word, and sign up today for like £5 a month. I mean, everything costs so much money now. £5 a month for our entire backlog is incredible. It's a deal. And of course, next week's episode is on there, and it's going to be Rules of Engagement with War Takes. But speaking, of course, of our beautiful patrons, we would be nothing if not for our £15 and above patrons who we like the most. And those are Space Northport, Lo Bjornsdotter, Candy Fox, Freya Aloysius, Gustavo Lira, Jack Holmes, Little Maybe, Mike Berg, Hannah Oberhart, Nick Boris, Austin Hines, Power Dad, Jason Hager, Neotomori, George Rohak, Kentucky Fried Commie, Drone Lover, Yarrick, Melody, Moro Gonzalez, Kevin McLeod, Labor Delenda Est, Callum Burney, Jay Martindale, Trip, Library Hitman, Jonathan Gerd, Max Gemainhard, Mothman, Beef Grime, Jack Drummond, Kit Divine, Tarp O, Stas has lost the Medici fortune. Terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Steve Widdershins, Maeve Victoria Roth, Akira, Anne Hedonia, Rosie Can't Fail, Them Fatale, Claire, Artemis, Forrest L. Norfell, Trucker Blondie, The Project, Lenina, Beth, Lucy Stab, Emery, NB, Whitney Wolverine, Commissar Ozymandias has trans their gender. Fantastic. Ash, not in Florida. Just the worst. Hell, a trans robot, Trapped, hit single, Headstrong. A banger then, a banger now. Joyous Uwu, Zan Hutchin, Troy Hudson, Violet Cybra, Isopod Gal, Lady Ariane, Annie Ruby, Katie Brobst, Varad Sukat, Clarification, Ronan, Noblesse Oblahai, Connor's Cool Big Sister, John 2089, Seng Shen, Sergeant Jackrum, Alex, Liz and Ash in Florida, Corvid Cultist, Wolfscott, Grendel Growls, Quinn Valeri, Wolfie is Normal, Al Irwing, Just Philippa, Finn Ross, Robert Greensmith, Abigail, Loz Pycock, Mega Combi, Emily, Queen of Sloths, Surfs Eat Shit and Die Alone, Josh Simmons, Cheer Up Love, Might Never Happen, Zoe Shepherd, Vay, Talkative Tiger, and Lauren Baston. Thank you. Kill James Bond is November. Abigail and Devon. Our producer is the wonderful Nate Bethay, the miracle worker Nate Bethay. Our podcast art is by Maddie Lubchansky, and our website is by Tom Allen. And I'll see you next time.